conversation with Gulshan Devaiah for Danube Properties Filmfare OTT Awards 2024, co-powered by Hyundai. Thank you so much for being part of this.
Yeah, I'm very edgy. You can shape.
His Instagram bio says Warsaw ka Versace, and there have been many cliches thrown at him, including unconventional actor, quirky actor,
Underrated,
as he says. But I would like to say that his performances have an edge, and there is thought, there is style, and more importantly, there's substance to whatever he does. What did you learn and unlearn from Anurag Kashyap, considering that must have been your first acting stint, if Girl in Yellow Boots is a yardstick?
What I learned from him is that I think he trusts the people he gives an opportunity to. And I don't know how it's now because I haven't really worked with him as a director. Like he was my co-actor in a show recently called Bad Cop. But he would never tell you, but then you always felt very trusted. He used to make you feel like that. Like, I've hired you for this job. I know you'll be able to do it. So he won't tell you, do this, do that. I want you to be prepared. Kuch nahi hai. No pressure. And then he'll give you that space also to improvise if you want. Sometimes he'll have ideas, he'll come and tell you. If you don't incorporate it, it's not like he's upset or anything. So it's a very casual environment and you also feel protected and trusted without him actually saying.
It's very important for an actor.
And he doesn't even have to tell you, Gulshan, I trust you. Kuch nahi. You feel trusted. And he hardly talks to you about anything else. He's so full of himself. And he's always talking about his work. मैंने script में ये कर रहा हूँ, वो कर रहा हूँ. He has no time for anything else. But still, you feel like he trusts you. So I think that was fantastic. And all the people at that time who were working for him, that's how they felt. That's why they loved him.
So how did you straddle the world of Anurag Kashyap on one hand and the world of Sanjay Bhansali on the other hand?
Yeah,
was it crazy, like a schizophrenic existence?
It wasn't schizophrenic. It was a complete experience altogether. And I'm like, okay, this is great. I didn't know that I would. I really liked Savaria. Many people, that film didn't do well, and then many people don't really like it very much, but I loved it because it was a magical world. It was a completely different world. It was not realistic. It was a figment of imagination. It was theatrical. It was like a stage production for me. So because I come from the theater, I was like, yeah, this is the world you're building. I buy into it. मेरे को मजा आ रहा है. Hey, ये सब characters है over the top and heightened drama. It's all of that's there. Emotion, the music and everything. It pumps you. It's like really like it puts you there. I enjoyed it. I really like it. I think one of his best films. So when I was like that, oh shit, I'm going to be in that world right now. And I never imagined. But
so you auditioned for this role?
No. I was introduced to him. He made me try some 2-3 pagadi styles and he said, you're a very Kamal Haasan type of face. Which is the first time in my life I realized that actually you're right. I never knew that. I went home and I started thinking, ये angle से जब ऐसे होता हूँ ना तो थोड़ा मैं लगता हूँ Kamal Haasan. And I have photos to prove also. Go through my Instagram तो पता चलेगा. I have photos with me and the great Kamal Haasan. I mean, I'm not a spitting image, but there is a likeness. And he was the first one to point it out. That's it. And then he said, I'm okay with this boy. And those were the precise words. I remember it clearly. And he left. And his dog, who's passed away, Popo, was there. And most of the time, his attention was with that. And it was a 20-minute meeting or something like that. And that's it. That's how I was in the movie. I was like, am I in the film now? They're like, we'll let you know. Yeah, and then I was in the film. And when I'm on set, Richard Chadha is telling me I had to audition. Sharad Kelkar is telling me I had to audition. I can't remember, but most of the actors actually. I was like, oh, okay, fine. I better just not say anything. I don't want everybody to think. I have no idea. It was like magic. It scared me a little bit also because you hear, the legendary stories about Mr. Bhansali. And then you're like, oh man, I don't know.
I'm sure you witnessed also a lot of it.
Yes and no. There is a side. See, the thing is, the only one side of it is publicized.
But he's a master craftsman that you can't take away from him.
He's extremely passionate. Okay, his films, his story is everything to him.
Yeah.
Now, these sort of people, they don't have time and patience for anything else, and they sometimes even expect that same kind of energy and passion from other people. And when they don't, because many of them are there to for a paycheck. They just show up, They're happy to be saying that it looks good on my CV that I did a Sanjay Bhansali film. And then they are there, they don't put any creativity, any effort, and it's not possible for us to match his passion. It's really that level. It can create very frustrating situations for him. And then sometimes that frustration translates into all those legendary stories you heard.
Breaking
you hear about him.
iPads and phones.
Yeah, and all of those things.
temper
And then
tantrums.
he can swear. Oh man, he has real talent. I must tell you. Like, the first time I heard him, I
Better
was
than
like,
you.
I was like, I have never heard this guy. He can.
But tell me, were
It
they...
can be tough. It can be tough because it's kind of intimidating, and sometimes he's really consumed by something, so
Yeah,
he
yeah.
doesn't seem like he's approachable. तो
Yeah.
वहाँ पे थोड़ा daring करके मैं बैठता था बगल में मॉनिटर पे देखता था. Sometimes even say कि sir नहीं ऐसा कुछ, and he would give me the look. But I think we got along really well. He liked me, and when he saw my shots also, my first day was like really. It takes forever though with him. That's another thing that you have to. But I was in a set where like every time I look, I find something new. So it was like the most expensive set since I don't think
Ever.
I've been. Yeah. So all of those things were fascinating, and I was thrilled that I'm in a Bhansali film.
No, it's interesting also your
From
choice.
being intimidated, like oh shit,
Yeah,
everything
yeah.
I can do, to being like oh damn it, like this is.
What
accepted.
happens if you and the director are not on the same page? Has it happened to you?
Yeah, it happens a lot. You have to try and find something. It's very important for me to understand the sensibilities of the director because I'm serving their sensibility. If I don't understand how they're telling this story, then I don't know if I want to be part of it or not, or I don't know how to serve that sensibility that they have. Like I can't go and do Anurag Kashyap acting in Sanjay Bhansali's film. It won't work. I can't do Bhansali-esque melodrama in
Anurag Kashyap.
maybe I can because that will be like a crazy character.
But are you as off center like your characters, like say
No.
in Guns and Gulaab or in Mart Ko
Maybe a little
Dard,
bit
you know?
depends. Like yeah, right
Like,
now
are you
I-
as mad as the characters you portray?
I can seem like that. I can seem like that because it's also my nervousness and my anxiety sometimes, which is like kicking in, and then it just makes me like really loud and.
Like, how do you
boisterous.
prepare for a role? Is there
That
some
really
method?
depends.
Yeah.
That really depends on the role. But like for example, because you said Guns and Gulaabs. In Guns and Gulaabs, I used a method. It's usually imagination based.
Correct.
And there's a reason for that also. I think one, I'm only child. I had lots of time to sit and imagine things.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah, and it doesn't really serve any purpose until you become an actor or you are in the creative field, because then you know जो ख्यालों में जो पुलाव पकाया था वो कोई काम का नहीं है otherwise. If you don't know how to channelize it. Now I have a means to channelize that. The other one is that's one. Mostly it's imagination. And then
See, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Guns and Gulaabs is a cool role, but it's not a.
no,
It's not an.
you know what I was thinking?
Huh.
I was thinking I am in a western, like in a Sergio Leone western, spaghetti western.
Where you break into Telugu also.
They were not making a spaghetti western. But then me thinking that it's in a spaghetti western, you can actually, if you go back and you see, my hands are like I'm a gunslinger in that. I walk, my positions, it's like that. Next, like I have holsters with like guns slung around my hips. I don't. But then that really worked for it because it created an image of this character who's a total outsider. वो गुलाबगंज का नहीं है, बाहर से आया है. वो दिखने में भी अजीब है, बहुत सारी चीजें भी अजीब है. And there are legendary stories about him also, and you don't know whether it's true or not.
But it's not a role that requires craft, right? Like say a death in. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
like a
great.
death in the gun.
I'm correcting you right away.
Or death in the Ganj, or say something even like you do it so seamlessly, which I'll speak about in a like even your role in Badai Do. I think it's one of the few LGBTQ movies which made a lot of sense. You do it seamlessly, but behind that seamlessness also there's a craft. But I didn't see that.
Every actor has a craft.
No. But in your case, obviously the craft is much more.
Craft is not confused with preparation. Don't confuse craft.
No, not preparation.
Some roles require more preparation, some less. Like doing Mart Ko Dard Nahi Hota required more preparation.
Like?
Or playing like 4 months of like action training and learning how to fake karate. I can't learn karate. Yeah. So things like that. And with Dibakar, when I did Ghost Stories, and I had to quadruped training. I had actually learned how to kind of run on all fours, which is very difficult. We just didn't have enough time, so we couldn't shoot me doing that.
So there's a lot of hard work also. Physically,
Sometimes it's
very
physical,
challenging.
sometimes it's mental. Like in the case of a Death of a Gunj,
Death
Death
in
in
the
the Gunj. It's Guns and Gulaabs. It's mostly just imagination. I would imagine like the character, and then I would take that and put it when I'm on set, and I know this is the geography of the set. What can I do over here? Because he's a mysterious character, there are legendary stories about him. So I would suggest ki I'm there, but suddenly I'm here, because in the logic of your writing it works, and we're not trying to explain. So people will wonder, like, did that really happen? He was just like over there, but suddenly he's here. So that is, those improvisations also come from all of that time that I spent cooking this, building this character in my imagination.
You work with all these massive stars, Deepika, Sonakshi,
Yeah.
Taapsee. Do all of them have a different process?
very
like,
different.
and do are any co-stars, without taking names, but has that hampered you while doing a scene, having a difficult
Sometimes, like
male or
Like I'll tell
female?
you with Taapsee, like she's wonderful, easy, very easy to work with. She doesn't like doing takes. I sometimes want to do like 7 takes, because you get into it, because the repetition is wonderful. It's not because you don't have the take. Sometimes if you have the time, you do another one, you will find something, some impulse, something like interesting will come. There's more layers you can do, or you'll discover something. So, and I like doing takes. If we're not short for time, it's like, can we do another one? She doesn't like doing takes. So that sometimes I like, come on, please, एक और कर लेते हैं यार मेरे लिए, or something. कोई negotiate करना पड़ता है. और मेरे वो तो producer भी थी वो फिल्म की, तो मैं producer के साथ negotiate कर रहा हूँ, चल एक और कर ले. तो उसका ना वो, she is very well prepared. She knows her lines, she knows everything. She'll come, एक दो take में हो जाएगा. And she's like, we have the take, moving on. I'm like, I know we have the take, but then we did it so quickly. Let's like do na ek do baar, let's run it again and see what happens. I'm like that. I'm interested in that. Let's run it again and see what happens. Or sometimes an idea flashed. हाँ ये अच्छा है, इसको try करना चाहिए. लेकिन वो तो take मिल गया. अब director भी बोला moving on. अरे करते हैं ना 2-3 और.
And how do you deal with difficult co-stars? Like, if somebody is
You have
just
to
not...
give them the space.
Yeah.
It's like, being professional, I'm a thorough professional. Sometimes that's part of the job also. You don't have to get along with people you're working with. You, as a professional, you have to be able to work with them, and you have to figure it out. Sometimes people are difficult. Sometimes people are very moody. Sometimes you work with senior actors who used to be like big shit in, like, back in the day, and then they're just not interested in talking to you, making eye contact, and pleasantries, saying hello, nothing. They just want to come there, do whatever they're doing, and they want to go. So, and sometimes many people just come, show up for a paycheck. They will not put any effort. So they're not giving you also anything. So difficulty can also mean, all of these things are also difficulty, not just rude behavior. Sometimes I'm getting nothing from my co-actors because they're not.
Must be terrible.
Yeah, they're not. And then okay, but then who are you? I'm a professional. I have to somehow make it work. And then you find a way to make it work and be happy with it. At least try to kiya. So I take a lot of these responsibilities on myself, and instead of like projecting it on others. Okay, nahi ho raha hai, but I have to make it work. How can I make it work? And you problem solve.
I've seen you trolling people on social media.
I'm on, my reason on being on social media is also to it used to be like out and out trolling, but now it's also just like, I want to be just like this. How I am with you, I want to be on my social media also. Like, there's no difference. It's not that some other image or some brand that I'm cultivating or something. There's no brand. This is.
But I heard, I mean, your Instagram is damn quirky and nice.
अरे
But I
Twitter,
heard
come to Twitter ना, क्या Instagram पे?
no, बाप रे,
ए
no.
भाई secretly आकर मेरा tweets देख के जाओ. अभी cricket
Yes,
match,
I've seen your tweets also.
वो क्रिकेट की वजह से बहुत ऐसे अब मतलब बाकी कुछ नहीं हुआ, सिर्फ कुछ क्रिएटिव ट्वीट्स करने का मौका दिया हमारी टीम ने.
So tell me, you get affected by trolling because you troll people, yeah?
Sometimes when it gets really unruly and personal and like it does. I've seen some of my female friends get like really nasty things said about them. That upsets me. I don't think, and then you're also trying to convince yourself that they're bots. They're not people, they're bots because there are bots. अरे everybody has an IT cell. क्या बात कर रहा है?
Of course.
अब तो मतलब anybody who can afford an IT, I can. If I like want to have an IT cell, if I can afford it, if I can budget it, I have an IT cell. So they'll do a lot of these things for me. So I observe a lot of things and then you start to see patterns. If you see one thing and you get too emotionally affected, then you can't see the patterns. But it's tough sometimes not to be emotionally affected. It's tough. I block people many times. I do. Not as much as some other people, but I do. And I see some nasty things said about people. Sometimes nasty things said about people I don't like, but I still feel like, does it have to be nasty? Can't we be civil about it? Like you can troll, make fun of people a little bit, but like somewhere, be a little civil about it. Why get personal and nasty? But yeah, humans are humans.
Someone told me a lot of brands and filmmakers sign actors based on their Instagram following. Is that true? Has it happened to you?
Not to me, because I'd be jobless. You see, I had 209,000. I have, which is hardly, which is nothing. It's peanuts. Like novice influencers have 3 times more than me. No, I'm not. I'm not a content creator. I don't want to be one. I can't do it. If somebody else wants to do it, and we were discussing, no? I think you sort of buckle under the pressure of being irrelevant. So you try to, one way of coping with that is also saying that kya chal raha hai aajkal? Okay, we'll follow the trend. Following the trend is also one way of psychologically feeling that you're still relevant, and it works. But sometimes there are people who will be like, nah, nahi karna hai. It's not about like you're better than everybody else or anything. You're just different, and you accept the fact that you're different. हाँ ठीक है, कल को नहीं हुआ कुछ तो ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं. You have to, I mean, we have to take responsibility with our choices, na? And that's another thing I was really scared of, because I saw a lot of it. People who are bitter. They've been in the business for like 25, 30 years, and they are bitter. I said like, मेरा कुछ होगा नहीं होगा. I don't want to be this when I'm 55 years old. ये नहीं हुआ. Because I'm carrying that poison in me. वो जिनके बारे में बोल रहा हूँ वो सब उनका कुछ क्या होगा पता नहीं, वो सब तो ठीक ही है. So, but why am I carrying that poison in me? Because that's going to ruin me only, not the ones that I'm hating. So I didn't want that for myself.
What's the worst and the best piece of advice you ever received? Finally,
It was a funny advice. Like a friend of mine's driver said कि सर बड़ी गाड़ी ले लो, rate बढ़ेगा. But it's not a worst advice because he's right. Because perceptions work like that. People like me are also like, no, but like there must be other ways of like, sort of influencing perception or doing business. So
what's the role that's given you the most like consistent and happiness from what you've done?
I don't know. I think I'm not really. Once it's over, I think it's out of my system. I don't think about it. Then it's just, then the only thing that I'm made aware of is how other people are thinking of it. That. So,
you're detached from the process.
Yeah, I'd like to detach from the process. Sometimes it's a little difficult because when season 2 comes, then I don't want to be complacent. Like reattach. And there are lots of season 2s coming.
So, if you could build your dream home anywhere, what personal touches would you add to it?
I'll try and find my sneakers and clothes that I collect. I wear my own clothes and my own shoes. I have too much. Like it's overflowing from everywhere. I'm splitting in the
Somebody
sides.
told me you have 400 sneakers.
I'm not anymore. It's 246 now. So yeah, I have no room. I absolutely no room. So I think it's both being practical and personal also, that I'll find a very efficient and a nice creative way and a beautiful way to store them. And then I do have some art that I have collected, not too much. I'm not like a proper collector or something, but I buy what I like, and not really from, although one of them is a famous artist, but not necessarily like that. So some that would be my thing, but otherwise no. And also I'm very sure that I'm going to make this home, this space with another person, and you know that person. So it's going to be with both of us together making that thing. So it's not just me. But मेरे sneakers के लिए एक separate room होगा.
What is your idea of a perfect day at home when you feel completely relaxed and pampered?
When I know I don't have to get up and do anything. I don't have to go anywhere. I don't have to read any scripts. I don't have to make any payments. होता है ऐसा, रेंट, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी बिल, स्टाफ पेमेंट, ये वो, सैलरीज, दिवाली बोनस. Even people from old building also call, सर हैप्पी दिवाली.
So
हो गया यार, वो बिल्डिंग में नहीं रहता, अभी दूसरे बिल्डिंग में रहता है. So when you have nothing, so that's a very rare. It happens sometimes. It happens when you wake up sometimes like, आज कुछ नहीं है, वाह, and I enjoy that uh, um, that sense of where you have no responsibilities. कुछ नहीं करना, कुछ नहीं करना.
Okay, that's it. Thank you so much for being part of this
Pleasure.
conversation.